I've made over 600 YouTube videos recommending FIFA career mode save ideas. Maybe you've watched my series where I play career mode as Stoke City, but today we're turning the tables because I've read dozens of your career mode saves and I've picked the 5 best to rate based on how good I think they are. All of the saves that you're watching in today's video were posted first over on my Discord server, so if you're interested in being in a future video, make sure you join with the link that's in the description of every video. Don't forget to play along and post your ratings in the comments below or vote in the new channel on Discord so we can find the best save of all time. So, for our 5th rating video of FC25, where will we be heading first? Well, we're actually heading to Derbyshire, where Sonaldinho has posted a 7-year-long career mode road to glory with Derby County. As I am a Forest fan, you know this save must be good for me to include it, and it really is. Sonaldinho noticed that Derby was second last in the championship, and rather than using live start points to save them, decided it was better just to restart the entire season. After he posted a brief history lesson, it was announced that Duncan Ferguson, the Everton legend, would be the man to lead the Rams to glory. Season 1 started the rebuild with dozens of players joining and leaving the club. Most of the moves were actually financially motivated, with the highest value players leaving and their replacements being cheaper options from Europe that can be developed into future stars. Quite unbelievably, the club actually made the playoffs in Season 1, and then beat Norwich in the playoffs before winning the final to return to the Premier League at the first attempt. What a first season that was from Sonaldinho. The next 6 years were all spent in the Premier League, as Derby would slowly improve more and more. 13th in Season 2, 15th the year after, then 10th, 9th, 4th, and finally in Season 7, a title win that marked the end of the save. The entire time, the team had believable ratings, and the transfers continued to make sense, and even though the thread was nearly 10,000 words long, it was still a really fun read to read the entire thing. So, I'm going to be ranking this save and every other save in this video in 4 areas: how realistic the save is, how difficult it seemed, how fun it looked, and how original the save idea was. This seems like a fair way to rank easy but realistic saves against unrealistic but challenging saves. So let's begin with this one, and I've rated Derby like this. The slow progression made me really like the realism, and the good transfers made me rate this as a 4 out of 5. I think that this save will keep being fun for a while because the Premier League is really hard to dominate long term, and while the difficulty might be tiny bit too low in Season 1, I really do like the save idea, and this is the final score. You can head over to our Discord channel to rate this save too, and at the end of the year, we can try and find the very best save that anyone submitted for FC25. The link to that is in the description of this video, and all you have to do is click on one of the 10 reactions to submit your vote. So, moving on from Derby, we have one of the most unique saves that I've ever been sent. Rather than just picking a team from Scandinavia and playing normally, Holy Roman created a 3-tier Scandinavian Super League. The 16 best teams in Scandinavia played in Norway, the next 16 in Sweden, and the worst 12 were moved to Denmark. I think that the 3-tier system gives the same vibe as the Champions, Europa and Conference leagues, with teams always playing against teams at a similar level. It's a shame we can't edit the leagues to link these together so you get promoted from Denmark and move to Sweden or something like that, but Roman started his save with Copenhagen, who are actually the best team in this Super League. Honestly, I've never seen anyone play manager career using the pro camera either, but as you've seen, it does give some pretty nice views to some pretty nice goals that he scored while playing this save. Anyway, going back to talking about the save, even though the rest of the save was just a standard rebuild, the transfers, ratings and tactics all seem good for a team in this situation. Copenhagen were rebuilt to be as good as some of the better Dutch and Belgium sides, which is probably what would happen if these leagues did coalesce into one Super League. Roman won the Cup and the League in Season 1, but other teams actually improved, and Copenhagen fell down to 3rd place for Season 2. It seems like a really balanced league, and it seems like a really unique idea, and that's why I thought it deserved to be reviewed by me and everyone in the comments. So, let's start doing our reviews. I think you'll agree that it's probably not the most realistic save, mainly because it's something that doesn't exist in real life. I can't be too harsh though, the transfers are good, so 3.5 out of 5 seems decent for that. However, for fun, difficulty and save idea, we had to go high, because all of them were done so well in this save. Here's the final rating, and hopefully you'll agree that this was a really cool save idea to share. It's one that anyone can recreate, and that makes me really enjoy reading through the save. Okay, so I might actually be saving the best for 3rd, because this next save won an award on the Discord for being the best save of the entire month of January. The idea is that Gareth Bale has become Newport's manager, who are a club from South Wales that play in League 2. Honestly, I can see why this save was so admired. There's only a single season posted at the moment, but what we have is more than enough to review. Inside the thread, there are a ton of graphics that have been made, and some of these are the best that anyone has ever submitted. The storyline is also a really fun read, and it's not only the world of Newport that's being shared, the entire footballing world has been represented by IN8. There are standard amazing goals that most threads have, sure, but the depth given for every decision that is made by Gareth Bale is one of a kind. For an example, at the end of Season 1, Gareth Bale decides to change tactics and buys a few new players. It turns out, every single player in the squad has been given a paragraph to give context to the decisions that Gareth Bale has made. The whole thing is such a fun read, and I implore everyone to go read it if you have a few minutes spare. If you want to know how the first season ends, well, I'll leave you with the summary that IN8 posted. So, Newport made it to the playoff finals and lose 3-0 on aggregate in the first leg. Of course, this is an uphill battle in the second leg against a defensively resolute Bradford City. The game was a bit of a chess match, with Bradford parking the bus and conceding possession. In the second leg, Bradford wouldn't even have a single shot, while Newport would actually score in the 86th minute. That would be a 1-0 win, but they lose 3-0 on aggregate, and that's the end of the playoff run and the end of Season 1. That also ends the thread, so now we can rate it and look forward to reading a bit more if the thread does get updated again. So let's start with realism, and everything about this save looks really good. There weren't too many transfers, but the ones that IN8 made were really nice, and the save idea was decent too. Difficulty seems almost spot on, and it must be so fun for this much effort to go into making a thread to share the fun with everyone else. That means that this is my final rating, and I fully think that it is worth the high score, and as always, don't forget to post yours in the comments below. So that's 3 saves that I really liked reading, and before we look at our last save, I thought I'd share some honourable mentions for really good threads that I couldn't really dedicate a full slot of this video to. The first is Will Dabb's unique idea of creating a Somalian team in Sweden. That's a really good save idea, and I've never seen that combination, but it isn't the longest thread, so there wasn't really too much for us to talk about. If you've watched this series for a long time, you might recognise the name Wesboy, and he's done a brilliant save with Everton that tries to rebuild the club. It's a really realistic rebuild, but the best thing about it is the set of rules in the first post. If you're thinking about setting up a realistic save, go check them out because some of these are the best ideas I've ever seen. Another save that I might include in a future video is Toby's great escape with Montpellier. They're currently bottom of League 1, but he's rebuilt them, and the second season hasn't ended yet, so I thought I'd wait to see if it was completed before talking about it more. But Season 1 was a really fun read, and definitely worth reading if you have a spare moment. The last save that I'd earmarked for inclusion in a video like this was Luke's Cambridge United save. It's a save that was fully focused on difficulty and realism, with Luke not being able to sign a player that's higher rated than his current highest rated player. It's not the longest or most detailed threat, but again, the rules at the start are ones that would make anyone's save a lot more challenging and a lot more fun. I'll put them on screen right here, but check them out if you want to know more and read through the entire thread. Okay, so let's fully review our last save of the episode. This one is fully unique because I'm pretty sure that it's the first female career mode that I've ever reviewed. This Sonia Bombastor career mode was submitted by Confusic, one of my Discord mods, and someone else who has been in a few reviews since FIFA 23, but I really like reading this thread, so I thought it was worth including. The story goes like this. Sonia Bombastor, one of the greatest players to ever grace the women's side of the game, starts out in career mode as the manager of Chelsea women's team. In Season 1, they reach the Women's Champions League semi-final and also win the Women's Super League, which is the women's version of the Premier League. In Season 2, they get even further in the Women's Champions League, they go the entire way and win the trophy. But that's when this save's first big twist happens. PSV, who parted ways with their manager Peter Bosz in the summer of 2026, they weren't impressed by the performances of their new head coach. They offered Bombastor an interview, and on the 4th of June 2027, all of the documents were signed and sealed. PSV had a female head coach. So that storyline of the PSV manager being replaced and a new one then not impressing is an example of the great storylines that Confusic has included in this thread. I'll try not to spoil the entire save, but Bombastor has success at PSV, making it to the Champions League round of 16 in her first season. With some success in the men's game, West Brom in England offered her the job, and she moved across the North Sea to manage in Birmingham. The save is still continuing, with challenges being taken fairly often and some tough decisions needing to be made, but basically everything in this thread was super fresh and super fun to read. The save idea itself was also really cool. I've had so many threads where players become managers, including that Bale one earlier, but this is the first time a female player became a manager and then also moved over to the men's side of the game. I can't believe I haven't thought about doing a series like this on my channel already. So let's rate the save, and for the final time today, here are my ratings. Save idea had to be high, there's so much realism as well, even though I can't see a team like PSV taking on a woman manager just yet. Maybe a move to someone like Almer would have been a more realistic move, but it would have also been a lot less fun too. If you want some context, I know that Confucic supports PSV, so that'll be a big reason why this move happened. Overall, I loved this save, and it was probably the most unique idea in this video. It's an idea that anyone can copy without needing mods or very specific knowledge. So that's the best kind of idea to share, one that anyone can give a go themselves. Like I said about 10 minutes ago, please head over to our Discord and rate these saves for yourself. It's a simple 1 to 10 ranking, and in a few weeks time I'll post a video with the 10 best saves of FC25 as judged by you. But until then, thank you so much for watching. Why don't you check out my Stoke City series, which I've put on the screen right now, and I'll see you soon. Thanks for watching, cheers, and goodbye.